Hi there, this is Christopher Hart. Before we start, a huge thank you to our Exoplanetary family around the world. I can't express how grateful I am for each of you who has taken the time to share Exoplanetary with your friends, your family, and your loved ones. Your support has carried the show to every corner of the globe, to places I may never get to see myself, and I owe that all to you. So keep spreading the word. If you love what we're doing, let everyone know. Want to help in other ways? Leaving a glowing 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, formerly iTunes, is a fantastic way to help introduce the show to new listeners. Reviews on other platforms help too, so if you feel inspired, go for it. Also, if you're ever in need of a podcast guest, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to come talk to you. Oh, and yes, we're still on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/exoplanetary to get early access to episodes and let us know what extras you'd love to see. Prefer a one-time contribution? You can always buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/Christopher Hart. That's ko-fi.com/Christopher Hart. It's basically rocket fuel for creating more of the stories you love. To everyone who helps make this show a reality and gets us in front of new listeners, thank you. Despite some bumps along the way, Exoplanetary isn't going anywhere. I'm excited to bring you more adventures in the 26th century and beyond, and even some new shows beyond sci-fi down the road. Be looking for that. Thank you again for your incredible support. You make it all possible. Exoplanetary. The adventures of the spacefaring Wolverton family and their friends far in the future. Tonight's episode, All's Well, 20th Century Dies. The day is December 31st, 2001.
Hello? You here? The door was open, so I...
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Or should I say, good grief. You aren't who I was expecting.
No, I expect not.
Where is she?
Groceries. I assume you're here for dinner?
I am. Nice to meet you. Kurt Vonnegut.
Hi, Kurt. I'm Jerry.
Nice to meet you. Jerry? Have we met? I meet a lot of people.
If we have, I don't recall.
Oh, there's just something... Anyway, I got back in town in time for the snow. Nothing in the fridge. She was kind enough to invite me over for dinner.
Yes, I'm a bit snowbound myself. She was kind enough to let me stay until I can head home.
Connecticut?
New Hampshire.
Oh, hell. Now I know you. Jerry Salinger.
I am, yes.
Well, sure. Oh, don't worry about me. I'm not one of your obsessed fans.
Nor I one of yours.
It's just funny running into you like this.
Yes. Hilarious.
Well, what's funny about it is that I was having dinner with a guy and your name came up.
I see.
He asked if I'd ever run into you, and I said no. But then it occurred to me that you were the guy I should talk to about this idea buzzing at the back of my head.
I don't, collaborate.
No. No. Nothing like that. I wouldn't. No.
What did you want to talk to me about?
The future. Or at least what passes for it.
What do I know about the future?
Well, not our future. We're old men. There is no future.
Not much, no.
But I can't help myself. All I think about these days is how we're driving to a point where we'll have too many people and not enough resources. The world's addicted to petroleum. This horrible thing in September. War again. Whole thing feels like a stake in the heart of the 20th century.
Why do you think I'd have any opinions on any of this?
No, I didn't think you'd have any. The thing is, I can't help but think about the future, because I'm asked about it all the time, while you...
Well, I don't do any public speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any big ideas left, really. I just read the newspaper and get sick to my stomach and throw it up onto the page for my columns. Fame killed my writing dead. You took a different route.
We only have our own paths.
See, on paper, we're not too different. Two guys come back from the war, write books, get adoration from the next generation.
Let me be frank. I don't really have anything to say in this matter. The only thing the passage of time really means to me is getting older, which can be a burden, but I'm not particularly concerned about the body.
Yeah, you're spiritual. I inferred that.
I take it you're not?
I'm a humanist. I tend to see the spirit as a flim-flam we play on ourselves.
The spirit is all we really are.
But are you talking about something mystical? Or are you just talking about what's spinning around in your head? Because your head definitely exists. And so does brain chemistry and depression and writer's block.
I suppose. I don't have much time for all of that. I meditate. I clear my mind, and then the words come very easily.
So, it's true. You've been writing all along.
What else would I do?
I don't know, watch baseball games? Chase after women?
I do plenty of what interests me. My wife would probably frown on me chasing women.
Mine definitely did. But back to my point, the 20th century's progress and horror, it weighs on me. I feel like I stood by and let it all happen and did nothing about it.
So?
Oh, that's my point, Jerry. I don't know how to let any of it go. I don't know how to be like you and not get tied up in knots.
That's simplifying it.
Well, how would you put it, then?
What I do is not magic. It's just a discipline that allows me to focus my mind elsewhere, where it will serve me better.
And anyone can do this?
I think so. Yes, even humanists.
Right. I may go outside for a smoke.
Feel free.
Have you flown much since the thing, September?
I haven't, no. I'd like to get to London.
I'd like to get out to California, but I can't imagine flying.
When it happened, the mail stopped for 2 weeks. I get letters all the time. I don't respond to them, but I check them for things. They send photographs, manuscripts. Yeah, I use them for fire starters.
Well, what are you checking them for?
Money.
They send you money?
Some do. Not many.
Jesus. What do you do with the money?
I spend it. What else do you do with money?
I really should have stopped publishing. Turning myself into a walking Zen koan probably would have made me a millionaire.
I'm comfortable.
Do you keep up with the war?
What I read in the papers.
No television?
Just what I can bear to watch.
I think this is just the beginning. Afghanistan's a fool's errand. Nobody ever won a war there. Bush will look for something where he can have a real victory.
Where?
Iran? Iraq again? Maybe Somalia? I tried not to think about it.
You were in the war, Dresden.
You were too. D-Day.
The camps.
God. There's a blur that comes with memories like that. Some memories slip away like smoke blowing across the street, while others cling stubborn as scars. And I can't forget, no matter how hard I try. I couldn't write about the war for the longest time.
It's not easy. It's never really about the war, but the scars we take home. Memory is... You can't trust it.
Yes.
But those kids in Afghanistan, do you suppose any of them will become writers?
Bound to happen.
But writers of what? For whom? For readers? For television?
Why did you become a writer?
I just had to. It was the only way to live.
Sometimes I wish I did something else with my life. My brother was a genius.
He's passed.
A few years ago. He invented cloud seeding. Rain and snow on demand.
What would you have invented?
I don't know. Maybe I could have beat Jack Kevorkian to the suicide machine. Yeah, I'm never really comfortable with people until I can make them laugh.
I can see that.
I tried meditation, I tried a lot of things. Only coping mechanism I really held on to was smoking.
Speaking of suicide machines...
Exactly. I don't suppose there's anything as powerful in the human mind as the impulse to destroy, especially ourselves.
I don't know about that.
Well, there's the impulse to create, sure, but don't you find that we're too easily seduced to make bad decisions?
Well, I've made a few.
It was unavoidable. But some of them, they aren't just destructive, but self-destructive.
I'm far from perfect, but I've spent time putting those urges aside.
I always figure that if God supposedly built us in his image, the madness that gets into us is left over from all of his grand Old Testament temper tantrums, deluges and turning women to salt and all that.
All those stories seem to speak of how savage we were, frightened of everything, children looking for fathers and mothers to give us comfort.
I don't see how we're all that different. And God's still fairly popular today. It's possible that the two are interrelated.
Well, I don't think so. God has very little to do with what we get up to with our free will. God is an idea. Maybe a fear. A justification some of us need in order to avoid making bad choices. Ultimately, we are at the steering wheel. God's a patsy.
Maybe. Perhaps we all needed a convenient deity to blame.
People's beliefs are only important to them. They only represent their own personal anxieties, their own search for answers.
I have come to believe that people look to God the same way someone falling off of a building in a comic book screams the superhero's name out.
What?
Well, Lois Lane falls off the bridge, and she yells out, "Superman!" and swoop! Here he is, flying in from the back of beyond, catching her before she hits the water.
People think God is Superman?
People want someone to reach out and help. They want a friendly person to save them from certain doom. Have you noticed that doom is always certain?
Well, we're all, we do depend on each other.
Do you recognize the irony of the world's most well-known recluse saying that people need each other?
I'm not a recluse. I'm talking to you, aren't I?
Well, I agree with you. People need each other, but people are also selfish brutes. I can't tell you how often I get glad-handed and wined and dined by the greediest, most evil people on earth.
Why? Why let them near you?
What can I say? I'm kind of a cheap date, Jerry, and spending the money, same as you are. So are they, but on me instead of whatever sports car or pinball machine they didn't buy.
Well, they ask me too. Stopped responding long ago. They frighten me, if I'm honest.
Well, billionaires are just like you and I, donning their pants one leg at a time. The exception is that they have valets to do all the pulling and fastening.
Billionaires?
Yeah, it's fairly disgusting. I've worked with engineers and mathematicians before, and you often run into a type who's a little socially inept, right?
The World Wide Web, those people.
Yeah. Where did you run into the web?
Oh, just a glance over someone's shoulder. I kept moving. It's not for me.
I can see that. Anyway, these internet people, they invite me to speak and have dinner and all that.
And they're awkward. Nerds.
Nerds, yes. But it's more than that. That aspect meets up with a personality I first met once or twice in the war.
What kind of personality?
Did you ever encounter one of those guys who seemed to really blossom thanks to combat? The guy with the dead eyes, maybe souvenirs.
Ah, memento mori. Keeping little reminders of death in his pockets. Like spare change, body parts, fingers. Ugh, grisly stuff.
Right. These billionaires are basically nerds who'd be perfectly happy to disassemble us with fruit knives.
Ugh.
You need smarts to build the future, but you also need the ability to run through life without the pain of a human conscience. Not just vision and ambition, but a heartless disregard for other people and what you might do to them. Now, these people have always existed. The only difference is that no one is holding them back anymore. Not even slightly. They're a pack of rabid dogs off leash and roaming for fun.
What do they want from you? Why do they want to hear what we think?
I used to think that they were just spoiled children, accumulating toys, collecting notable names, and getting off on some kind of fame kick.
What do you think now?
They tell me the things they're working on, the things they want to accomplish. Much of it goes over my head, and some of it is like grocery shopping from a device in your refrigerator. It just orders things for you when you're about to run out. And I say, oh, how clever.
That's a terrible idea. What if you don't want another of whatever it's ordering?
No, honestly, it seemed rude to bring it up.
Suppose I took a look at the cheese in my refrigerator and I think, this cheese is killing my gut. Why don't I stop buying this stuff and eat, the eggplant, squash, something without any goddamn lactose?
Knowing people think that way requires compassion, empathy. But all they want is my approval. And, I just kind of smiled and nodded at it all.
Why would they want your approval? I mean, excuse me, but why would they go to any trouble for you to say what?
Well, not approval in the ordinary way, where you hand someone a spoonful of spaghetti sauce and blow on this and tell me how it tastes. They wanted the great man's approval, the guru's blessing, the pronouncement from the mountaintop that I've seen their refrigerator and declared it a work of genius.
Oh, that.
Yeah. They're just looking for someone to worship and for the guru to, in return, tell them they're special people.
They take all of their hopes and anxieties and push them into your hands. Here, make sense of this for me. Not even a moment's consideration that you might be a human being, that you might have nothing to say to them, that you're just another pilgrim trying to make sense of it all.
Oh, good. Have you two been making friends?
Catherine!
Oh, I am going to get spoiled by all of these courtly old-school manners.
Is that so?
Where I come from, I don't meet as many gentlemen who stand up when a lady enters a room.
If you knew the processes involved in getting me standing upright these days, you would be even more flattered.
So, are all of your friends fossilized scribblers, or just the two of us? Here, let me help with those.
Oh, yes. Please tell us how we can assist.
Oh, that's all right. I just need a few minutes to get everything going, and then I'll come join you.
We're being spoiled.
We'll be right here. You old rogue.
Oh, please.
I'm not suggesting anything untoward, not at all. But one of the few benefits of this strange life we lead is that our mystique unlocks certain doors that might not otherwise open for us. A pleasant night having dinner with a beautiful young woman is just about my speed these days.
Yes. New Year's Eve.
Oh, hell, I forgot about that.
It's my birthday tomorrow.
Well, don't say. Well, happy birthday, Jerry. That was really something, Catherine. Thank you.
Oh, yes. Delicious. Thank you.
You're both very welcome. This is my first New Year's Eve in New York, and I have to say, it will be difficult to top.
I'm certainly humbled. First, you take me in from the snow, then you feed me like a king, And I'm happy to hear that your yoga studio is coming together.
Should be gangbusters in this neighborhood, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's very kind. So, what did you two talk about while I was out?
Oh, the usual. The end of civilization as we know it. Kurt is obsessed with the future.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm not really concerned with the future. Maybe I'm really obsessed with the late, not-so-great 20th century.
The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. Who said that?
I'm terrible at this. I don't know. Oscar Wilde.
L.P. Hartley, British novelist. The Go-Between, 1953.
We gotta get you on Jeopardy, Jerry.
Oh, no.
Why do you think you're stuck on the 20th century?
Everything important I'll ever do happened then. I could write another book, even a good book, but nobody will ever call me a 21st century writer.
Is that really what it is?
No, not really. I think we messed it all up. The years coming up are gonna get worse, darker, until finally nothing I ever did matters anymore.
What? Do you think you should have saved the world or something?
I know it sounds stupid, but there's a part of me that hoped I might have changed something, had some positive influence.
Well, you wrote some books. They made some people happy. Maybe you shared some ideas with them.
I know. Just foolishness, really.
It's very noble to think you should have saved the world, Kurt, but have you ever considered that humanity should get into trouble because it needs to learn from its mistakes?
How do you mean?
Humans move in one direction from today into tomorrow. There's the past to learn from, but no human knows what's coming.
Right.
So you'll never know what your real influence will be. No more than Shakespeare, no more than Chekhov.
No more than L.P. Hartley. We only have the present moment. Living the past it's retrograde. Backwards.
Yes, Jerry. But the billionaires...
Billionaires? Swimming pools, movie stars?
Our friend thinks we've handed the world to a cabal of delinquent nouveau riche. And he may be right.
Well, he's definitely right. History is primarily rich people misbehaving.
But some of the things they talk about, it's wild nonsense coming from an ordinary person, building cities on the moon, colonizing the solar system, exploring other galaxies. People make a living writing such fanciful stuff, but they have the sort of money that can pursue these whims.
Could be.
I just see it all leading to endless misery and suffering for whomever lives in that world, the people without dough.
Your compassion is admirable, but we aren't going with them. We can't do anything for those people.
That's not true at all. You've both undersold yourselves. I don't think either of you realize how important you will be in the future, no matter what happens.
Oh, I don't know.
Look, I can't tell you what's going to happen, but people are going to need you both. They're going to need Milan Kundera and Joyce Carol Oates and Ralph Ellison and Agatha Christie and all the rest. They're going to need all of you, whether the books are made of paper or read on a screen or heard through headphones. Billy Pilgrim is going wherever humanity goes. So is Holden Caulfield and Kilgore Trout and the Glass family. As long as there are people to read, we will need all of the books, all of the ideas, all of the stories.
I'd love to think you're right, but...
All we can do in the here and now is the work we do. Live the life we live, and then we're gone. Maybe we last a few years. Maybe we're like all of those writers who we read once or twice, and now we struggle to remember their name.
Maybe we have a stockpile of novels still waiting to come out after we're dead.
Maybe. I can't help but think that all of that stuff, as urgent as it may seem, isn't really something I should be spending my time contemplating, ruminating. Not when I could be working.
A life without speaking engagements.
You talk about the future like a father disappointed he never prepared his children for the wicked world. You worry.
No, I'm not worried. Like you said, it won't be a world I live in. I despair. I despair that we had every chance to learn something from our mistakes, and we blew it again. More wars, more oil, more death.
You can't change other people. But you can change yourself.
But, Jerry, I was changed. I was changed 60 years ago in the war. The scales fell from my eyes. I saw what was wrong. I told as many people as possible.
I felt the same way. Someone gave me Walter Cronkite's phone number once, as if I could somehow wave my hands in front of a television camera and stop a war or disarm every nuke. But the madness is bigger than any one of us.
We can only change things together, all of us at once. What I despair at isn't that there's nothing to be done. I think about our lovely hostess here.
Me?
She's young, practically a child.
Oh, I'm older than you think.
I'm older than thinking. I predate conscious thought. I think about Catherine and all the other children and nigh children out there growing up in a world that will have nothing for them. Nothing. No hope.
The world has always been cruel to children.
That's why I despair. I see a baby and all I can do is fast forward to the decades to come. What wars does he fight in? How does she eat and find clean water? When you can't hold out hope for a newborn baby, what's left? No wonder I'm ranting like this. I haven't been this long without a smoke since Dresden.
What time is it?
Nearly 11. Almost the new year.
Well, given that I don't think either of you gets a kick from champagne, what would you say to a cup of tea before we ring in the new year?
That sounds lovely. Thanks.
I'll be right back.
You know, Kurt, I hope you don't mind my saying, you aren't what I thought you would be at all.
I don't know what I thought you would be, but you're definitely not that.
I don't have any answers. Not for you, not for anyone. No more than you do. All I have are books for people to read.
I suppose that's all I have, too, in the end.
How did you meet Catherine?
Out walking my dog. She invited me over to have tea. I just live around the corner, so...
That's curious. She was a volunteer at my local library. Helped me locate a couple of books I wanted. Then she's starting a yoga studio here in the city.
There's nothing wrong with looking.
No, that's not what I'm thinking. Everything you've said about the future, if I'm honest, I've more or less had the same thoughts. I push past them.
Nice work if you can get it.
But she mystifies me. She's friendly, but cool, clear-headed. You heard her talking about history and the future as if it somehow has nothing to do with her.
Well, I hear yoga helps with that sort of thing.
Well, I've had to deal with too many strange people who wanted something from me. But she's never asked me a question about any of my books.
Neither have I, really.
Yeah, just an old man's foolishness, then. Looking for meaning in the face of a beautiful one.
Maybe she's from the future.
What put that in your head?
Look, those billionaires. They like dropping little tidbits, seeking approval from me, their new surrogate daddy.
So?
Most of them are convinced that we are constantly being visited by time travelers.
What do you mean by most?
High-tech execs. Many of them tell me they want to leave the planet.
These are what, Pentagon types?
Oh, hell no. The government types don't want to meet writers. They want to meet the guys with money.
Why would they come to us?
Well, who would you want to meet?
I don't think I would. I think they were pulling your leg.
Very possible. Then again, it stands to reason that any civilization who could time travel would be savvy enough to avoid detection. Hiding in plain sight, looking like ordinary people.
Oh, this sort of nonsense gives me a headache.
Maybe some of the people we meet, these people who come up to us and say, I hate to bother you, but...
Are time travelers?
You think I'm crazy?
I think you have another book in you.
Here we go, gents. Should old acquaintance be forgot?
Gin a buddy, meet a buddy, coming through the rye.
Oh, please don't.
Here's to old men and new friends.
I'll drink to that.
Here's to the future. whether we're part of it or not.
Yeah, the future.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jerry.
And good night, 20th Century, wherever you are.
You have been listening to Exoplanetary, All's Well, 20th Century Dies, written by C. Christopher Hart, performed by
Chris Porter as Kurt,
Sam A. Mowry as Jerry.
And Stephanie Leet as Catherine.
Script consultant, Ash Freeman.
produced by C. Christopher Hart.
Music provided by Jacob Jansen.
Sound effects by Danger Marshall.
This play, the characters, situations, and associated intellectual property, copyright 2023 by C. Christopher Hart. All rights reserved. Recorded at the Willamette Radio Workshop in sunny Portland, Oregon.